Hey everyone, welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting and another episode of Gotham City Chronicles. As always, my guest host for tonight, or my co-host, is Comic Books NYC. What's going on, man? Host, I don't know. My partner in crime. How about that? The Don Don.
Yeah, that's better. It's much better.
The Don Don is my partner in crime.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here. We made it to a dozen episodes. Many thought this show would just flame out months ago, and we are here. We are 12 episodes in, and let's do what we do best: is another Batman origin story. Let's do that.
Like the 37th one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, there's only like 24 more to go. So.
Yeah, only 24 more to go.
So, and our guest tonight, proper term this time, for episode, our Earth 1 episode is Comichead 84. What's going on, Kenny?
Yes, it's an honor to be on the best slash worst channel. I'm pumped. Was that your first guest?
You were the first guest on this.
I think you were the first guest on the show.
We didn't have a guest for year one, but we did
year one by ourselves. Yeah.
You were our guest for that.
So that's how long you've been doing it. You're starting to recycle guests.
Yes, well, John has been on multiple times, and
John's
you have been on multiple.
And Bear has been on twice.
And Bear has been on multiple, yeah.
Oh,
both times their second time, there was like 4 of us.
Hey, if you're out there and you're watching, if you're into Batman, you want to talk about a story, you know where to find us.
We'll do whatever. So we are not, we have went through quite the list at this point. Like we've gotten through 12 books. So a little bit of everything. So I'm excited about this. I had never read this story before.
This is my first read also. First time reading this.
I believe, you suggested this to us, didn't you?
I did, yeah. This is one of my faves, man. I've read it a bunch of times because it's a pretty breezy read,
Yeah.
Breezy is like an understatement. Not to put the cart before the horse or whatever, but like the story is told mainly through images. I feel like there's a very little dialogue in this.
There's not very much dialogue,
and it was only dropped in trade. Like there's no.
Yeah, it's pure graphic novel. Pure graphic novel. Yeah.
Because I know you have like the what do you call it? Best covers segment, like I guess.
Yeah, that's not possible.
This one.
Yeah,
that's the best one.
I think it would be best splash page within this graphic novel. There's so many. There's a bunch of double page spread splash pages. There's so many full page splashes in this. Like the Gary Frank is just killer in this book.
Yeah. So, before we get into the art and the story, let's shout out this chat just a little bit. See who all's in here. D-Runk was in here early, wanting to recap.
We just talked about you backstage for 10 minutes. That's all
Unruly Simeon. What's going on, Unruly? I appreciate you always here, always supporting. Thank you so much. Javi, what's going on, man?
Yo.
Javi.
Seawood, new stand.
Hey.
Seawood.
What's going on, Seawood? We need to get Seawood on one of these.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, he's good for reviews.
Yeah.
He's well read. Seawood's definitely well read.
Yes. Chris Barrett, what's going on? Thank you, as always, for hanging out. Let's see. Comic Assassin, what's going on? TJ, I know I've seen TJ.
TJ, what's up, TJ?
TJ, what's going on, man? So, this was...
shots fired on my hoodie from Unruly.
Where?
Hey, come on, man. What can I say?
Shots fired at the Nike.
I'm a Nike guy. What can I say? Nike, Levi. That's
I can't anymore, unfortunately. But that's a story for another day. But
interesting.
I have a bad foot, and like Nikes put too much pressure. They don't have enough space across the top.
Oh,
so I can't wear them anymore.
Need that
pressure. So like I have no cartilage in a joint where my big toe connects to my foot.
So do you have to wear those Velcro shoes?
No, I can wear. Actually, I wear Brooks. They have enough space, like Brooks tennis shoes. So I have to wear tennis shoes almost all the time, though. Like I can't get away with like dress shoes for very long. So that's completely off subject and random. But
welcome to footwear talk with the boys.
So.
Unruly's like conversely, fashion kudos to I love this hat, dude. Look at this. Yeah.
Ripping on the sweatshirt, but like that hat.
I'm just gonna take my shirt off. Like I'm gonna pull a rod right now.
Just rip it off. So yeah, this was first time reading this one. It is a trade only. There are now what?
Can't get a slab. Can't get a slab of this.
No.
Can't.
There's what, 3 volumes now that are out, I believe.
Yeah, I haven't read any of the other.
I haven't read the other 2 yet.
I didn't even know there was a third. I know there was 2. I've read the first 2.
I thought there was 3.
I know there's a second one. I'm not sure about a third one. I know there's a second one because I started going down the rabbit hole of looking up Gary Frank original art.
Yeah.
And I saw that there was like a volume 2. I was like, I don't recognize any of these pages from the story I just read. And I was like, oh, okay, it's a volume 2.
So,
and I can't believe I'm pretty sure that when we started this and like, hey, let's do Earth 1, I think at that point I was the only one with the trade and you guys didn't have the trade. And now it has arrived. You both have a trade and I got this tablet because
you can't find it.
I can't find it. I think I grabbed it to read it and it's like somewhere crazy.
Yeah, so I have a second printing here. So of this is a second printing. I don't know. I don't know if this originally came out in a different form or if this is the way that's been published. And
mine was hardcover.
That way. It was a hardcover originally.
Yeah.
It was a hardcover.
I know I don't know if they did both on the first print.
You had the hardcover.
Mine was hard. Yeah.
I don't even know what printing this is. I'm not sure.
Okay, so Steelwood says that it came out as a hardcover originally. So.
Okay.
All right, so cool. So this is second printing.
Yeah.
Hardcover.
I'm guessing this is probably the same, but
yeah, he said that the trade was printed soon after.
Okay. Interesting. So, well, there's 2 volumes.
This is like a 1 hour. This is a 1 hour read, basically, or less.
Literally, like, because I read it only the once, and then I restarted, like, skimming it while ago, like, literally an hour ago, and I got almost all the way through it before we went on. So, yeah, it's basically an hour read.
Yeah.
So, we usually start with the art. I feel like that's a big part of this.
That's the headline here.
Yeah, it is the headline here. I mean, not that Jeff Johns' writing is bad, but it's when Connie says there's not much dialogue.
Oh man, I love that.
There's lots of pages where there's not much dialogue. It's like it's Gary Frank. It's
this would be such a sick page to have like the original art on. It's one of the first pages.
Oh yeah.
With the close up of the eyes and then also the gun, the Gatling gun, or the grappling hook gun blasting. What a fantastic page!
This double page spread of him crashing the party through the window is just. I mean, it's a huge image. Like this guy is just a baller artist.
Yeah, he is. And I really didn't know him from anything other than Doomsday Clock. Like. Right. And that was kind of.
I wasn't reading Doomsday Clock because I just couldn't deal with like the.
I kind of
schedule. I'm gonna get a hardcover on that one for sure. I'm gonna get a hardcover on that. But,
I think. I definitely did.
I made one in my head too, and I was like, let's move on.
Me too. I started to make a joke, and I didn't do it.
Keep it catchy. I think Superman is the other Gary Frank like notable work, and in fact, I think it's the same duo.
Jeff Johns,
Gary
Frank,
and Frank on Superman.
Yeah, it's in the back. It's
yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah. I think that's the one that deals with like. Is that when they introduced John Kent? I think it's around that.
I never read that Superman Secret.
Yeah, I don't know. He was introduced because that was on the list, like in Convergence or something, but I don't know if that's part of that or not. Yeah. So, or maybe that's where they actually like he's an adult. I know he got like he was.
I mean, even these non-action pages where he's just like he's going to like the liquor store and he's like, give me whatever the strongest is or whatever. It's just there's so much detail in these images.
Yeah, and his action shot, like his fight scenes are solid and. Yeah, I really I really dig it.
So here's my one art gripe: is I don't like his Barbara Gordon that much. I mean, it's okay. I think it's okay, like on this page, but in some of the other pages, I don't know. I just wasn't sure about that.
I feel like there was like a little bit of confusion on how old he was trying to make her in this, because she's like clearly working a job yet going to school, and is she a teenager? Is she like 20 something? It's like it's very confusing, like how old she's actually supposed to be in this.
Well, I mean, also, you know, they are, I guess, I mean, for those that don't know, I mean, and we're not necessarily talking about the story yet, but like it's a retelling of the origin of
It's an alternate universe.
It's an alternate origin story.
She seems like college age to me.
For Alfred, for her,
she does. But then, like, you get to the scene like toward the end where she's like been captured, and she looks very, very like 13. Like,
in some panels she looks like a teenager, in some panels she looks like a young adult. So I totally agree with that. Sort of confused, like that particular character design didn't quite land with me because it was not consistent. So
I think I would agree with that complaint. Like in general, like I don't have hardly any complaints, but I do feel like she was a little.
That was literally my only one.
Like how old is she? That's kind of what
I'm a big fan of this like harder edged Navy SEAL Alfred.
Yeah.
You know, like I think it's badass. I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like the actor that he referenced for the Alfred, but I can't put my finger on who it is.
Oh yeah,
damn, this is reminding me.
He does have a kind of like a recognizable face. I like his penguin a lot. Also, I thought
who I feel like a little bit of like almost like a Sam Elliott kind of like character.
Like, okay, Sam Elliott.
A little bit, like I could see, and I do feel like
kind of looks like Bryan Cranston to me a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, a little bit like Bryan Cranston with a beard. Yeah.
And you know what I like for the Penguin is that I like that it's like there's like different inspirations for this. Like
Chris Barrett says Jeremy Irons. I don't know if he's.
Well, Jeremy Irons, like the Alfred that they used when Jeremy Irons played him, like in the DC stuff.
Yeah, he played him in
very much
Batman
like that Alfred is taken a lot from this Alfred
on film. Yeah, that's the closest that we've gotten. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And like the Penguin, I like that they made him very human, right? So he's not like the mutated dude. He's like the legit mayor of the city and everything.
Yeah.
But when they cut to his dinner scene, when he's like savagely eating his meal, they give you like that little tinge of like that Batman Returns. Savage penguin.
Sinister penguin. Yeah. I like that.
So that was like a cool little this one here where it's like, and just the way that they're using like the camera, so to speak, just to show him like tearing apart the chicken, I think it is, and to show the distressed birds as he's mowing into the chicken. It's pretty funny.
Yeah,
every page is pretty much a hit.
It's a gorgeously illustrated book. It really is. It really is.
Yeah, like he didn't take any pages off on this one.
No, this is the art here is just fantastic, and like just like there's so many of him falling, but like they're well done, and it's just he falls a lot in this book. We'll get into
this scene with Bruce and Alfred hugging, where he's like, you've never been alone or whatever.
Yeah,
that was pretty damn solid right there too. Like a touching scene.
And maybe most notably on the Batman design is it's one of the few. Let me get a page. It's one of the few depictions of Batman where you see his eyes through the mask.
Yes.
Which it gives him that because he has a very like year one starter bat suit going on, just like combat boots, a basic. But that gave it a unique look of like showing his eyes through the mask. They're almost always whited out with something in there. in
Yeah,
motion.
he has some kind of lens over him pretty much all the time, in most other depictions. So, anything else we got art wise that we want to like?
I don't know. I think we covered art. I mean, I got some story observations.
So,
you want to get
obviously, this is an Elseworlds origin. So it's another kind of version of a year one kind of thing. First of all, he's not very good at what he's doing to begin with.
No, he's getting his ass. He's getting his ass handed to him on like page 4 or something, like right here. Just like on the ground, down for the count. You know?
Well, like right off the bat, his gadgets that he's so well known for, don't work,
malfunctioning,
and then he tries to do leap across this gap that the criminal made it across, and superhuman Batman, he doesn't make it.
I mean, and really the story is so effectively told, mostly through images, alluding to my other point. I would be super curious to look at a Jeff Johns script for this and see how deep he went on describing the scene versus just the literal dialogue words on the page. Because most pages are like, ow, bam, and that's it.
Literally.
There's not a ton of actual words, but there's a lot said in what's going on the page from an art standpoint. So I wonder if Jeff Johns' script was so detailed that, Gary Frank could have just illustrated the story based on the script, or if Gary Frank really drove this story and Jeff Johns, I don't know. I didn't go down the rabbit hole of trying to research how they work together on this book. I don't know if you guys are aware. And
to drive this home, we are 8 pages in before we get our first word of dialogue.
Right.
It's some sound effects, and our first word of dialogue on page 8 is ow.
One word, yeah.
It's ow. And then page 9, there's almost no words. I mean,
in fairness, it opens up with an action sequence, though.
It does,
yeah.
But you go, even on the pages with words, it's
not a ton.
It's very sparse. I mean, there's a few conversation scenes. Don't get me wrong, but
I would say the scenes between Bullock and Gordon are pretty. I guess they lean a little bit more on dialogue. The scenes between Penguin and Bruce and Alfred towards the end, there's some interesting significant dialogue there. But other than that, I think the art is really driving the majority of the story.
You guys think you could have used some more either narration, dialogue throughout?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty effective the way he does it. I don't know that I would want a whole bunch more dialogue in any way, shape, or form. I think it's sparse, but it's solid. It tells.
Yeah, I mean, it really does read like one supersized issue of a comic book. It doesn't read like a collected edition of the first 6 issues of the New 52, which people call Court of Owls. But those are 6 different issues of a comic book. This is just one book. That's I think very, very concise. And I don't know. I mean, I could go either way on that. I think or maybe a lot of that stuff. Maybe if you keep reading volume 2, if there is a volume 3, I'm not even sure if there is.
Yeah.
But maybe you get more of that in there. I am certainly curious to read volume 2, especially just because I like Gary Frank's art in this so much. So.
Yeah.
So. I'm going to jump back to art a little bit. What do we think of the design for Harvey Bullock? And if you don't know, this is Harvey Bullock in this universe.
So I liked it, but it was unexpected, I guess. It was unexpected.
Yeah. Good-looking actor.
Right, because your assumptions going in is that it'll be the opposite of that.
Yeah. We think of Harvey as overweight and drunk and unkept. Poor hygiene, Harvey Bullock kind of,
did they ever do a special edition of this where they dove deeper into the making of it, or had any black and white, pages in there. Yeah, like
Be interesting.
I'm curious. I'm definitely curious. Probably should have looked that up before we went live, but whatever.
But they still have like Bullock and Gordon still kind of have like that odd couple dynamic, but for different reasons. Like Gordon is in his like unexpected flip in this one is he's like kind of on the take, or at the very least he's just totally turning a blind eye to certain crime because he's like, hey, that's just the way it is. You know,
it almost appears like, because you don't know for sure what's going on, it almost does appear like he's on the take, or something's going on, because this is not James Gordon, straight shooter, cop that we're used to. Yeah. This is James Gordon, who's basically just playing the game like everybody else.
Well, all of the key characters have like a pretty specific deviation from like the other origins, right? Like that would be, I think, the one for Gordon. Like, Batman's like his inspiration for the bats came from visiting his parents' mausoleum, and he walks out of the mausoleum, and all these bats come out or whatever. So as opposed to year one, where the bat comes in through the window while he's sitting in his own mansion or whatever. So there's definitely some deviations. You got the whole Alfred backstory being sort of completely different. Him being more of like a war veteran type. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that
really,
I'm sure we're missing plenty of other things here, but there's so many slight, strong deviations, but they weren't overwhelming. That they took me out or anything. They felt good to me.
Like Alfred totally takes the place of like all that League of Shadows training, like, and that's kind of why Batman's like almost like extra incompetent in the beginning of this one, because they totally remove his. When he takes off and goes through all that intense training in the League of Shadows stuff, it's kind of Alfred, who in all his like Secret Service background, that is training Bruce Wayne. So that was like a big.
What's up, Andy?
Yo, Andy.
And then shout out Sharon a while ago.
Hey, Sharon.
Sharon is in here. Comics for Blame is in here. So thank you guys. It's most everybody that I missed that's hopped in. But yeah, it's a very different. Yeah, and you can tell he has not done like the League of Shadows, and he trained with Escape, like all the things that like the original Batman origin, all the training he did. It really just seems like it's training with Alfred. The other thing that's very different about this, about his origin, is he's Batman. Like he's Batman because he's going after a specific person. He believes Mayor Cobblepot is responsible for his parents' death. This is not a I'm going to stop crime, vengeance kind of thing to start with. This is a very specific mission. Like, I'm going after this guy. I'm going to find out who killed my parents. I'm going to take him down. And that's really all Batman is about at the beginning of this book. Like, because it gets to the end, and there's the scene that Tommy talked about earlier where they're like, you were never alone or whatever.
Right, and then it's Alfred's that's the one that sort of says we got to turn Batman into more than into something bigger.
They're having a conversation, and it's basically it was just the wrong alley at the wrong time. There was no conspiracy, no robbery, so you can put the costume away. Now you can stop. And he's like, no, now I can never stop. And because before he thought it was a specific thing, and he would take those people down, and he'd be done. And now he realizes, no, it's the problems with the city is what led to his parents' death. And now he has a bigger mission. And that's a very interesting tweak on how he gets there.
Right. And then Alfred says, we need to build a legend. And then they go right into the tease of like some guy in a room with like newspaper clippings of like, who is Batman? Like, all that. And that's Riddler. And I guess he's the main antagonist in the second book. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
And it is interesting, like we get the Penguin, but we don't really he's not really the Penguin. He's just
he's mayor.
/mayor / so we don't really get any of the costume Bat villains until like literally the end. Although I guess you could say maybe the Birthday Boy character is kind of a costume villain. Like
he's like a Batman villain for sure.
Yeah.
Birthday Boy. Yeah.
I found that to be the weirdest part for me. Like just in general, like I guess he mistook Barbara Gordon from some girl named Amanda. That was like his first victim.
All his victims, he called
all his victims. So he's a serial
he's a serial killer that's in the employment of the mayor.
Yeah.
Right. It's
It
to me that felt like the loosest link in the story.
really felt like they were trying to, like, story-wise, it's the one thing that doesn't fit. Like, they were trying to have, like, clearly they had to have somebody who was their killer, their hired killer on Cobblepot's payroll to, like, take care of all these things that he was having, like, these threats and follow through with all this stuff with people. But it felt like they were like, oh, well, we're not going to use one of the regular Batman villains for this, but we need a Batman type villain for this character instead of just having a hired killer. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, and wasn't there that other guy, like something Weaver? Or,
Who was like the cop?
He was like the hitman. No, like the hitman guy on Penguin's like squad. That like he found like a picture of like this guy. He was like smoking or something in the picture.
Right.
Like,
expecting it's him.
Yeah, I have very hazy memories of like that character's role in it, but I know that there was a little bit of like intrigue around that. And really, and at the end, with like when he confronts Penguin, Penguin's like, "Yeah, I had that in motion to kill your parents that night, but I didn't realize they were going to run out in the middle of the show, go into the alley or whatever. So it was just my luck that he got killed, or that they got killed. So he kind of like he didn't actually like it was like he was behind it, but he wasn't at the end of the day because he didn't actually hire the person that committed the crime, right? So,
well, yeah, it was kind of to say like it was a random crime in Gotham. Right. Although he had planned to kill them, he was planning to kill them. He just didn't get the chance. He
didn't successfully, follow through on it, but he lucked out essentially.
So, what do we think about how
which was a little bit of a letdown because it's like a little bit, but it was still cool. It was. I didn't mind it that much, I guess.
Didn't mind it.
Like the whole like Penguin taking credit but not actually doing the crime.
Yeah,
thing.
It was a little weird. Yeah,
it was a little. Yeah, but I didn't really dwell on it. As I was reading it, I was fine with it.
So what do we think about how that ends with Alfred kind of sort of coming to his rescue again for like the third time?
Yeah, Uncle Alfred is like the man, right?
Yeah, dude, he's like the hero of this book. So
and he saves the day like a motherfucker too. I mean, he comes in with the freaking shotgun. Wow, wipes out. It's like definitely a shock value moment.
Yeah, definitely not how you're expecting that scene to end. Although, once Penguin has realized who he is, it's like you're not sure how it can end with Penguin alive and being Batman. So, like, that whole confrontation is very, like, very different.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where if I was to put like my Graders Notes show hat on for this, it's one of those where the art off the charts and the concept is really high off the charts for me. Like there's lots of different reimaginings of Batman and stuff, and I really like the reimagining that they take on it, but the writing, actual execution does leave some to be. Maybe if they got the green light to make this a miniseries, it would have felt more complete. Like,
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because it's just kind of a single standalone. Obviously, there's been a volume 2. There's maybe hasn't come out yet, or it's supposedly a volume 3. I don't know. I remember seeing that somewhere.
I don't think I've seen an actual volume 3, but
but it. Yeah, I would not say that the storytelling, the plot has some like unevenness to it. I feel like in order to get there, I think sort of because they're trying to get there in one issue, like one thing, like get through all of this at the beginning.
How many pages is it?
What?
How many pages is it?
I don't know. Because none of the pages are numbered. So
they're not numbered. That is true.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
but I mean, I'm guessing it's like around 100 pages, maybe a little less.
I guess 80 to 100.
80 to 100, yeah. That seems about right. I mean, honestly, it took me longer to read, and this is not a negative comment towards Harleen, but it took me longer to read one issue of Harleen than this whole graphic novel. You know what I mean? Because there was like more dialogue in one issue of Harleen than this whole graphic novel.
Yeah.
And I really liked Harleen because of the dialogue and the art in that one. So like for me, that was a great blend of a lot of really great dialogue and a lot of really great art. This was more of a lot of great art and like pretty good dialogue, but not a lot of it, you know?
Not a lot of it.
Not a lot of it. I think more of the story was driven by art than the dialogue.
It was definitely a art-driven, I would say, obviously, I'm sure Jeff Johns scripted it. I'm sure there's a lot of detail in like his description of what the panel should be, but this feels almost more like a Gary Frank story than a Jeff Johns story.
Yeah, I mean, that's my gut on it, but I have not seen a script, and I don't know if there's one available for this series or not.
So what do we think of like the ultimate end for Harvey Bullock?
I love that.
Like he says early in the stuff that he doesn't drink, he never touches the stuff, and then
I think the reason
awesome, and there he is. Give me the strongest.
I think because this is such a low time commitment as far as like investing your time in it, like because it's such a quick, like the art is gorgeous and you can just flip through this thing and you're done, like literally within the hour.
Yeah.
That you can forgive the minor flaws in it and like sort of the lack of dialogue, so to speak, helps that pacing go as quick as it does. So it all kind of works together in a really good way. Like I was pleasantly surprised to read another Batman origin story, like, you know, which is rare.
I remember when I first picked this one up, it was just like a random. Believe it or not, this is when I was still going to like Barnes and Nobles to get trade.
Yeah.
Before I even it was like when I first got back in, and I was like getting trades to read. I remember just like randomly grabbing it, and I remember like just like pleasantly surprised by it because I had no knowledge of it going into it, and I'm a sucker for a good like, hey, let's like a good Elseworlds, like let's flip the script, and I like the cheap pops of oh shit, that's different, oh that's different.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just like a cheap audience for that, so I always like that shit, especially if it's clever. Which I think this was like to have Thomas Wayne be running for mayor against.
Those flashback scenes were really fascinating. That's something we haven't touched on. I really like those scenes.
How they brought like the Alfred aspect is really one of the cooler alternate versions of Alfred. Like him and Thomas Wayne were old war buddies, or at least whatever the UK. I don't know if they were like secret
veterans.
They were
vets
together, one way or the other, you know.
Yeah, and he brought him in to be his head of security because he started to get like threats as he's running for office.
Right.
So Alfred gets brought in to be like security muscle to begin with.
Yeah.
And it's funny when after the parents die, he's like, "So, are you my guardian? Like, what do I call you?" And he's like uncomfortable saying because he doesn't.
I love that he wasn't automatically. I love that he wasn't just automatically in. You know what I mean? Like he was. Yeah. Like he needed convincing that like this was gonna be the rest of his life. It's like looking over this kid,
right?
You know,
there's not this long history of like I raised Master Wayne from a baby,
right?
Like showed up for a job to help his boy out, and he's like, what?
Like it's clear that he and Thomas are as close as you could be friends wise, like because of what they've been through. But which we don't see any of, but it's clear that they have that kind of relationship. But he's literally met the kid once.
Yeah, like it's yeah.
And now he's dumped with him.
At like a dinner party.
You know? At a dinner party. Like basically the kid ran by.
And he was like, I want to go to the movies.
Yeah.
That's it. Like that's it.
Yeah. And it's funny when he's like, so he's on the spot of like, so are you his guardian or my what? He's like, I'm your butler. Like It was funny because he's totally not his butler, but I just like that little
Yeah,
call.
that was a good joke. That was a good joke.
Right.
Yeah, I mean Jeff Johns did do a good job in in certain spots like that, really, with like the perfect line here and there, for sure.
Definitely, it's a well told story. It's really well paced. There are some like holes, flaws in it. I feel like I really think the birthday boy was unneeded kind of thing, but it did kind of I feel like the birthday boy played a bit more of a role in Bullock's storyline than really needed to be played in Batman's storyline, because he needed true evil, which he hadn't to push him to where he ended up with. But
you needed a physical adversary, because Penguin ain't it. So you needed someone that could give you that fight scene at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if anything, that to me is, like you said, the birthday boy part mixed in with sort of the Penguin, half-assing his involvement in the death of his parents, which was the whole point from the first few pages to the end. A little disappointing, but really I was so blown away by the artwork, and I was intrigued by that Riddler tease that I almost forgot that right away.
I don't see the point in him doing, like you said, that half-ass admitting to it. It's almost better that Batman misunderstood.
Yeah,
it would make his focus clear of because technically he was right of yes,
right. He had a hit out. So he was right, but
it was really. Yeah, that was a little odd.
But it still was a random act of violence at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe it was to illustrate of you're right. It's the streets are crazy. There's random acts of violence going on, and there's political shenanigans going on. So it's
right. It's almost like if Penguin had a flashback or something like that, and so you as the reader know what really happened, but Batman doesn't know. And if Batman is still left thinking that okay, and that maybe that's revealed later in Volume 2 or so. I don't know.
It was kind of
I'm not rewriting the story, so we're all good here. But
Jewish, right? Of you unmask him and you're it was him the whole time. Yeah, it was me. And half-ass plot right at the end. I
would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you darn kids. You're a dog.
We would have got away with it if it wasn't for random acts of violence.
There you go.
So,
all right. So, favorite cover.
Favorite cover. So, to me, you could almost do favorite one of these big
splash pages.
These splash pages. So,
all right. So this is mine. I think this is the first thing I showed earlier. I don't know if you want to go big screen on me or anything, but this is where he's punching Gordon.
Punching Gordon is a good one.
Yeah, that's my favorite. There's so many good ones, but that's my favorite. Love that.
All right. What about you, Kenny? You got a favorite one, or you need a minute to think about it?
Unley's asking, is Cobblepot still alive and or mayor at the end? No, he's dead and not mayor, and Harvey Dent's sister becomes mayor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Jessica Dent.
Just because we haven't shown him, I'll just show this. One thing about Birthday Boy is he is a sick fuck. And he's with his weird.
It's a great image.
Yeah, it's really good. Pretty cool looking cat with that big machete in his belt with a birthday cake. It gave me Seven, True Detective vibes of
a little bit.
All those bodies of the little girls. That's a dark.
It is dark.
Feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty cool designed, original character. Even though he's a little weird, he's kind of
what was his name again? Ray Salinger or something? Something Salinger. I think. His real, the real name of Birthday Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was said somewhere.
So, mine is actually of the one-page ones, I think my favorite is the very first page.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
That very first image of him in shadow coming through. I love that image. But another one I really love is actually the 2-page. And here, let me look myself. It's this 2-page where he breaks through the wall where he has.
Hell yeah.
I just think that's a really good page. I mean, just a really good splash. The knife, the wall coming apart.
There are no lack of full page and double page spreads in this particular book. There's a lot of them.
And there really is something about this page that, like, man, I just really love that page.
That is a great page. Yeah.
Oh, the page 2, yeah.
Like, taking up a quarter of a page of him just holding up a very detailed grappling gun is just so badass to me.
Yeah. Well, and I love, and it goes back to the Batman costume, seeing the eyes. I love the eyes, like on that page that you can see, his face. Like you see all you need to know.
Like on the next page when like it goes haywire, you can see his like eye do like the rock thing. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Let me go big and see if I can make it work here.
The Dark Knight's eyebrow.
Right.
I don't know if I get it to focus here.
Yeah.
Probably not well enough, but he's looking at it like, damn it.
That's great. What's up, Jambo Comics in the house?
Jambo. But you know what this book really like solidifies for me is this is an example of why comic books is such a dope medium. In like such a unique medium. Is like there's very few, like I guess books and novels do it to some extent, but like say you are a big Game of Thrones fan, right? There's something cool about like we've seen the book version and the TV show version, right? So you have these two versions you could dig into. But like comics is the one thing that if you're a fan of this story, like you can have all of these different combinations of writers and artists, and they're serving you up all these different tweaked versions of like the same world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because the time, it's not taking like a movie set and production, or even books take a pretty long time to publish and write. It's like a very agile medium. Like you can come up with an idea, bang that shit out, and you got it up.
I heard that they're putting out a Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the first Harry Potter book in an illustrated version of it at the end of this year. So like there's an example where like started as a book, became a movie. You have that debate.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a comic sort of medium, and now there will be one
version of that.
So I don't think it's going to look like a comic. I think it's going to be like one illustration per page, like surrounded by words, almost like a pulp, but like modern and colored and everything. But I might actually check that out. Like I like seeing things like that come out.
Have you guys read any of the Game of Thrones comics?
I haven't. I've seen them on the shelves. Yeah. I've been tempted here and there by them, just based purely from the art and maybe a story perspective. But I'm not. I just never did it.
It's a long running. It seems like they're really covering a lot
Are they in the comic?
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of issues out there.
I've never. That's not.
I've never picked one up. Never picked one up. I am curious about it. But.
Yeah. I wonder how they do it.
I guess there's an Howard the Duck conversation and politics going on in the chat. I'm not really following what's going on.
Cobblepot, Libertarian Party 2020, and something, And then I got into actual politics, but you're not getting any real politic comments going up on my channel.
So this is the 12th book, right? Where is it land out of the 12?
Out of the 12, I was thinking about that earlier. Where does this land for you? Where, if you're, if you had to rank it on a Batman story, is this a top 10, top 5?
I really like it. And there is something about like when I first bought it and read it that like for some reason I have like a little attachment to this story because this was like right around that time when I got back in as an adult and really started reading comics. So there's like a little nostalgia to it for me. But since then, I've read a lot more Batman and shit. And in the grand scheme of things, of like all the great Batman stories, I don't think it's like top 5 or anything, But I don't know. It might make my top 10, honestly. Just because some of the best Batman artwork out there and a really fresh take on it, which I appreciate. So it's probably hovering like on the outskirts of my top 10.
That's pretty respectable.
I can see that. And I will say, like the art, like the only thing I compare, like as far as story really being carried by art, Batman wise, is like Hush in terms of like better art than this. Like, and you know, it is very, very good. I would put it of the 12. It's there's a couple of tiers. It's probably in that 7, 8-ish range.
What's it better than?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's around where it is for me also. Like I don't. It's the more we do this show, the harder it is for me to do this segment of the show because I forget what we've done.
Yeah.
Well, like, and bring up that backing board.
All right. So here, I'll make myself the bigger version so people can see.
There you go.
So it's not year one, Halloween. So like these 5 are
I now have Court of Owls and White Knight ahead of Hush on my list.
Yeah, these aren't in order, but these are probably my 5.
These are the order that we did the episodes.
Yes,
not our ranking per se.
But these 5 are probably my top 5 of what we've done.
Yeah. Same.
So it would be like down in this group. I don't think I would have put it above Black Mirror or Harleen. It would probably be right with like Gotham Central and Death in the Family for me. So those 3 would probably be kind of a group.
Yeah, I would say I'm with you. Like I still have Mad Love at the bottom of the 12. I have Killing Joke at 11. Gotham Central at 10.
Yeah, ahead of Gotham Central, I think.
I probably have Earth 1 at 9 with Harleen at 8 and Black Mirror at 7, and then the rest, Death in the Family, and then almost the rest are in order except you would put Hush for me. It probably would be at 5.
Yeah, I would agree. I would think. Yeah. Well, everyone knows I despise The Killing Joke, so it's last.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
Mad Love would be 11. Gotham Central would probably be 10. I would probably have like Harleen might be 6, Black Mirror 7, Death in the Family 8, and then this would probably be 9. Yeah.
So we're pretty much in line.
Yeah. So
Killing Joke held up for me. Death in the Family did not hold up for me. I remember when I went.
Death in the Family pretty low. It didn't hold up for me either.
I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Yeah. Same with Mad Love. It just is not very.
Yeah, Mad Love definitely. Mad Love before Harleen came out was one thing. After Harleen came out, it's like.
I would probably put this ahead of A Death in the Family. Like this might be 8. Death in the Family might be 9. But
I guess it for me that question depends on how much this story grows on me over time. I only have one read. I only have one read and another art flip through, just like you. Death in the Family I've read like 8 times. You know what I mean? So like,
I would. It's right there. Those 2 I could put in either order probably. So
you kind of need the part 2 of this to really even get a good grasp on the world.
Frankly, I think that's going to be my next DC Universe app read if it's in there.
Yeah.
I haven't looked if it's in there yet. But
I don't know if you guys saw earlier, George said it got delayed because of Doomsday Clock. Is why Volume 3 isn't out yet.
Isn't the hardcover though of the whole series out or no?
I don't know.
For Doomsday Clock? Because I haven't read any of the volumes.
Volume 3 of this got delayed because
Volume 3
Doomsday Clock. Yeah.
Got it. That makes sense.
27 years. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. There's 2 great comments here. One is that is true of Killing Joke. Of it doesn't really feel like Alan Moore. It's almost surprising that Alan Moore wrote that. When you read some of his like Swamp Thing stuff, and Killing Joke isn't as heady as a lot of that stuff.
Right.
And also Seawood killed it with it's a good flip on Batman, like not being contingency man for every situation and like God, like he said.
Yeah.
He sure did a lot of this.
And yeah, Barrett, we haven't done Dark Knight Returns yet, and we never will.
So these are the only 12 that ranking it against. These are the ones we've read for the series. Those are the ones that I'm ranking. So yeah, like Dark Knight Returns is got a spot toward the top. So,
yeah, it's up there for us. Yeah. We're just avoiding it.
We did, yeah. Because people do Dark Knight Returns, so we keep putting it off.
Tell me this on Dark Knight Returns is, don't want to get into it too much, but I don't know if this is like the peasant take on it or I don't have a refined art palette, but I really don't dig the art in Dark Knight Returns. I'm
more of a fan of the art in Year One. I think Mazzucchelli is just genius. Frank Miller for me, like there are certain pages that really blow my mind, and then there are others that are like that doesn't even look like the character. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna go ahead and say that I hate the art, but I'm not. I like Mazzucchelli's style better.
I will say
you're still writing the story. To me, that's my favorite.
Like, I'm not a huge fan of Frank Miller as a page in, page out artist. He has panels that are amazing.
Yes, he does.
But he is not consistent in his books, and I do think that hurts most of his stories. Particularly, I think that is the weakest part of Dark Knight Returns, in my opinion, is some of his artwork. Yeah. So I would agree with you on that, Kenny.
It makes the book. It makes me put it in not as high a regard that the story really puts it among some of the top tier.
For sure.
For me, that the art has always dragged that because it's a visual medium. Art is just as important to the writing for me in a comic.
Yeah.
And I can get into fun. I totally dig Tim Sale on.
I love Tim Sale.
Beautiful. That's not like your conventional kind of art, and he nails it.
I would agree with that.
I do think Sin City is the best of Miller's.
I agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it really that black and white really it just really works for his style. The way he did that, it just works so well.
Yeah, because he looks at detail, so it's good for him.
Yeah.
All right, so there we go.
All right.
Year One.
Yeah.
Earth One. Year One.
Any final comments or thoughts on Year One before we wrap this up?
Earth One.
Earth One. Sorry. Yeah.
You just did the exact same thing.
I know you said it, and it got me.
No, solid read, incredible art, very entertaining flip. Not a huge time commitment. All of those are positive things that result in a very cool Batman book for me.
Kenny?
I hope I can find my actual trade sometime soon because I like to thumb through a hard copy soon. Badass, one of the more badass Alfreds you're gonna see. It's pretty fun. Granted, I'm glad that that's not the definitive Alfred.
Me too.
I do like him in the role that he is.
Me too.
But it's fun to explore look at Rainbow fucking Alfred.
Yeah.
It's fun, it's just that's like I said, that's the cool thing about comics. It's you can have so many different versions of these characters. But yeah, good shit. I feel like going in, reading the second one because it's not a big time commitment just like this one. So
yeah,
probably gonna jump into that soon.
I'm definitely gonna read the second one.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna track it down. See what we haven't really done. We haven't talked about expanding to JLA stuff just because we got so many stories we got.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't talked about that.
But we probably will at some point.
Yeah.
So yeah, hit us up if you have an interest in doing something like that. So so my final take kind of on Earth One is it is a fun take on kind of an alternate Batman. I really enjoyed it. I thought like you said, an easy read. I think it's a fun read. But beyond that, that's about it. It's not probably ever going to be something that I will go back to and read and read and read. I'll probably read it again at some point, but not it's not going to be something I go back to Long Halloween or Year One or
Year One is still my definitive Batman
Or
origin
even
book
like
or
White
whatever.
Knight, I want to go
For
back
me.
and read like already like as I'm reading Curse of White Knight, I want to go back and read White Knight. Like it's not gonna, it doesn't break into that kind of tier for me, but
Same.
I really enjoyed it, and I would recommend it to any Batman fan. Like if you're a Batman fan, I think it's definitely worth.
Yeah, it's great because it's not in continuity. It doesn't require you to know a whole lot. You can it's just an entertaining read.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it more if you've read a lot of Batman.
Yeah.
Because you'll get more of a kick out of what they're doing in it. You know,
right.
a lot of
And a lot of the inside jokes and stuff in there that you'll appreciate if you read Batman a lot.
Favorite one to reread, Unruly.
I mean, mine's Year One for sure. So that's my top.
Different from Year One, I would say The Long Halloween would be the next one to reread, but probably it's Year One.
Yeah.
Like someone I would probably more inclined to reread more than any of the others. I will say, like, I really kind of want to like reread White Knight, which like
me too.
So like, but that hasn't had the consistency that Year One does of me wanting to go back to it every time.
Right, and it has an active follow-up that's out on the newsstand, like not the newsstands, the LCSs or whatever in the world today. So,
Sean Gordon Murphy I am such a mark for that dude.
Badass.
What a triple threat! Killer covers, killer artwork, great writer. He's like Mount Rushmore Batman for me. Like I can't compliment that guy enough.
He's incredible. He has that awesome podcast thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's a big Batman fan. Yeah.
The other question I'm really asked, who we got next? I believe we're going to shoot for, I'm not sure when we're going to do it. We haven't set up a date, but Under the Red Hood is probably going to be next. Comic Geek McD, Boy Who Had Seven, and John have all hit me up about like being a part of reading this and doing this one next. I don't know that we'll get them all on. We'll see what the dates work like. This thing's a monster, though, so I don't know how soon we'll get.
Yeah, that's going to require some lead time.
That's going to require a little. We need to set up a date and get it on the schedule, but I think this is going to be
I'd love to see a Simeon episode of this show.
So would I.
I'm just.
Simeon,
I just want to put what I want into the universe and see if it happens.
Story. We'll bump Simeon to the top of the list. Those other guys have been on.
What were some of the other trades that we got? We got Gotham by Gaslight.
I currently have that we like is this I got from John. I got Year Two.
Year Two. I don't know if I have Year Two.
Gotham by Gaslight.
I have that.
Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
I have that.
And then
we should get Burke Nasty on for Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, or Who Dad or somebody like for.
Or Who Dad, yeah.
Turtle fan would be good for that.
Yeah.
But honestly, like with a little lead time, we could do almost anything because I go get it. Like those are the ones I have right now and I think these are, and then the Dark Knight are the only trades I think I have, Batman trades I think I have at this point that we haven't done. So that doesn't mean I can't go get more.
I've got a few we haven't done, but I'd have to go look at the shelf to remember it.
So,
crossover with the Shadow would be a fun one. I've only because I only have like a handful of issues and they're not in sequential order, but I've read the ones that I have, and it's like it seems like it's a fun one.
Which one is that? I'm sorry.
It's something that Dynamite Comics did, and Batman in the Shadow.
Crossover.
I saw those issues when they were coming out, but
some of those Alex Ross Shadow covers just like blow me away, dude. They're so good. They're so good.
The other one that we've talked about, but I haven't been able to track down a trade copy of, is Batman Cult.
Oh yeah, I have that Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah, the Bernie Wrightson one that Misexplained wants to do with us, and I haven't apparently the trade is out of print and really hard to track down. It's actually cheaper to track down the original issue.
It is cheaper to buy just the issues.
Yeah, so I may have to just do that at some point to get those, so we can do that one.
A lot of good suggestions. Unruly mentions Brayfogle, which did a lot of killer stuff like around that Nightfall era.
Yeah, his artwork's fantastic.
Yeah. in the Morrison Batman. I'm the goddamn Batman, right?
D-Ronk's like cough nightfall cough.
All right,
We've talked about that too.
Where do you start with that though?
That's the thing. Nightfall
That's
is
a huge story.
like you want to talk about this is big. Nightfall is like 3 of these.
Yeah, that's a 2-part episode or something.
Yeah, that might be a multi-part episode. But yes, D-Rock has been wanting to do Nightfall, and so is Bear Island from like the beginning. They keep bringing it up, and that's another one we put off just because it's a monster.
Yeah.
Kind of like I would love to do like a few sections of No Man's Land, just because like I love No Man's Land. It's what really hooked me into Batman. And well, Nightfall and then No Man's Land were like of my youth, the 2 big Batman stories for me. But they're both like No Man's Land is like 5 volumes or something. It's like stupid. So you wouldn't read it all. You'd have to pick some spots.
Let them start collecting a lot of this Tom King run into trades. And let's do one of those so I can eviscerate that shit, brother.
I think it's all in trades.
Trades. And
like it's almost all available. Yeah.
Yeah, it already almost is all available. And I would say it would be fun to do like some early King versus like before the wedding versus after the wedding, because I feel like before the wedding, Tom King I really enjoyed it.
Yo, War of Joke and Riddles, I dig that big time. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, and so, but then after the wedding, he lost his way.
So I didn't read that whole run. Like I read the first like 18 to 20 issues, then I skipped like 20 issues, then I read around the wedding, then I skipped almost the rest of the entire run. So so I do not have a full understanding of even what went down at the end of his run. Personally, I would have to do a bunch of catching up.
Okay, with not knowing. It's not great. You're just had to eat an elephant one bite at a time. Well, you see how often we get to episodes as it is. It's like monthly almost. So
yeah. That's all it needs to be.
So
I'm not trying to break records here.
Probably. Well, my guess is we'll still do this one next, and it'll probably be a week or so after C2E2. So sometime
it'll have to be after
early mid-March. Is probably where we're looking. So, and that will be on NYC's channel.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So yeah.
Great.
I think we're good. You guys got anything you want to
promote something
before we go?
I want to promote clean living, brother, treating your brothers and sisters with respect and kindness, and I want to promote that generosity.
Nice.
I like it.
You NYC, you got anything?
That's a good show. It's a good show. I got to catch that. I'll catch that on the rewind.
All right. Doesn't sound like.
No, I got nothing. I don't got shit going on. You know me.
Me neither.
You know what? Yeah, I think I'm good. I got. Hopefully, at some point, I'm going to get a Let's Collect out, but I got to record it. So I still haven't recorded it. I've had all the.
Yeah. I mean, I got some stuff. I just don't know when I'm going to get around to it. Like I bought a collection. I'm still like sorting through the collection. I mean, it's mostly Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's not much else in it. But yeah, I got to go through that and then do a whole video for that. And
well, I can ask you this.
I got some other art purchases that are about to arrive and everything. So yeah, we got some good stuff.
Run?
What's up?
Are you trying to get a run of Turtles?
Trying to get the whole Volume 1 run, yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to get the whole Volume 1? Nice.
Yeah.
No,
Giant meteor for president for unruly.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
I like it.
So, all right, let's get out of here.
Let's get up out of here.
Thank you guys everyone for joining us. I really appreciate it, and we will catch you guys next time.
Eat your fruits and vegetables.
Peace.